Hi, welcome to the very first video, an instructional video from Rotten World Makeup, which is a company I started myself. And today we're going to be teaching you how to cut off a finger. It's not a very complicated special effects makeup technique, but it's one that'll definitely freak out a lot of your friends. It's a lot of fun to do, and really great to post pictures and pull a joke on people. So with that being said, I'd love to see all the images of people trying out the finger cutoff technique after we post this video. So make sure you go on Facebook and post your images there. We'll have a link for it at the end of this video. And so let's go ahead and get started on that. So basic materials I use, we have different variety of brushes, different sizes. I kind of just use the cheap ones because I go through them a lot. This is also a D34 Ben Nye kind of like molding and pressing tool. I use it for when I'm applying wax and stuff like that, which we will have in the video. I have two different types of blood. One's the Ben Nye Fresh Cut, or actually one of them is the Ben Nye, let's take a look real quick, Fresh Cut, yeah, and then the other one is the Blood Red. Then we also have a Will that just has a whole bunch of different colors on it. This one is the, actually this is the black Will. I'm just going to be using black for this video. And then we also have the Nose and Scar Wax from Ben Nye. This is also the Ben Nye Blood. It's the thick blood, and also some of just their dark blood, which is a liquid form. And then these are just your regular sponge, stipple sponge. And then here is the Ben Nye Liquid Latex. You don't always need this for just like photo imaging effects, but it works really great if you're trying to do, like, if you want to keep it on there permanently for a long time, you can cap it, and that way it stays on the finger and the wax won't melt away from the body heat. So to start this video, we're just going to work on the first index finger on the left hand, since I'm right-handed, and that's how we're going to be applying the wax on the first step. So pretty much you want to get a fairly good amount of wax. It's going to go in a complete circle around the knuckle of the finger, so from this area all the way over to this area. Alright, so go ahead and get started on that. Okay, so I pulled out a little bit of the wax, kind of worked it with my fingers a little bit, and so from here you just kind of make like a flat surface, a little bit of thickness to it, but not too much. As you can see, the width of this is pretty thin. The length, I would say, for my knuckle is about maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and then from that you just take the knuckle, you see there's a little bit of wax on there, and start going in a circular form and spreading that wax around there. And you want to make sure that you smooth it onto the knuckle to kind of hide the lines and stuff like that on your area. And as you do this, you'll have a little excess on the top. Just go ahead and pull it off and apply it back directly around the knuckle. It's going to look like a little bit of a mess at first. It's kind of like you're sculpting onto these wounds, and the wax really is kind of a pain. It'll start to stick to your other finger as you're working it. So again, that's what that spatula tool is for. But I want kind of a messy outer perimeter of this, so I don't really mind it being so messed up. Because like I said, you really want it to look like your finger got pulled off, almost like in a door jamb. Alright, as I continue to work on it, I'm still going to continue trying to smooth it out as best as I can. Now this is going to take some using your fingers, because they're heated and they'll help smooth out the wax a little bit, where the metal won't be able to do that. So just kind of work it back into your skin a little bit. It's going to get a little everywhere, but you really want that circle right there, because that's what's going to give that kind of ripped effect. Okay, so next what we would do normally is we would take some latex and cap this off, but since I'm just doing this for a video, I'm not going to be doing the latex part of it. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next point, which is going to be painting. Now when painting the wound itself, I prefer to go with a fresh cut on the inside first before I apply anything to make it add more depth to it. I also like to use these two different types of red. The outside, of course, is going to be heavily inflamed, so with that I'll use the blood red, but for starting on the inside, we're going to go ahead and work with the fresh cut wound. And so just, use a pretty good amount on your brush. The brushes I'm using aren't labeled, so this one's fairly small, a little larger than an eyeline brush, and just go in there and paint the circle that you've made out of the wax on the inside on your knuckle. So just adding a little bit of color here and there. Also, you want to make sure that you kind of brush up on all the skin flaps that you have. Working into the wax, you kind of want to apply a little bit of inflammation on the wound itself. So add a little bit of red to the outside of your knuckle. As you can see, it adds a little bit of color and whatnot to it. That's pretty much all I'm going to use for the fresh scab for now. Another thing that I like to do, which is kind of like my own little fun thing to add, is, of course, as we all know, the finger has bones in it, and so what I like to do is put a bone inside that hole, and really all that is just a little ball of wax like this. Make it however long or however big you want to make it, and just press that directly into the wound, which I should have applied this before I did the paint, because it doesn't like to hold to the paint. We'll actually hold off on that until we get to the blood, because blood's a little thicker and we'll hold on to it. So do a little bit of touch up here because I kind of got rid of some of that, and then we'll go on to the blood color and add a little bit more of that into there. Just adding two different reds kind of gives it that effect. These colors are very close to the same exact color, but I feel like it just adds a little bit more to it. So blend that all in, thin it out. If you can see that. So again, when the wound lays down, it's definitely got that really nasty swollen effect as well. Alright, so next I'm going to add a little bit of black to it, but that's just to highlight or darken the inside. It really doesn't take much. Sometimes it's not even noticeable, but it's that little tiny touch I like to add. So just a small circle of black. See, now it looks a lot deeper than what it was. I still don't think I have enough blood on the, or color blood on the outer flap, so I'm just going to add a little bit more to that, if you can see what I'm doing. Okay, now with that being done, we're going to take just a thicker, larger brush to start applying our blood. Alright, so dip a little bit in there. This stuff I've let dry a little bit so it looks a little bit more coagulated, but again, it's just the Ben Nye dark blood. And so I just, kind of add a good amount of blood onto this. Now you don't want to get rid of all of that wax color. That's another big thing, because as you apply the blood, it kind of looks like transparent skin to the wound itself. Okay, and then I'm going to take a stipple sponge, put a little bit of that onto of the blood onto that, and then we're going to do the back accenting part of it. So we just kind of splatter it all over the place to really, really look like that finger just got ripped and mangled. So again, if you cap it with the latex, these little skin tags won't move as much. And you also want to make sure that you powder it. Alright, so here is the bloody nub piece. You know, it's pretty grotesque, pretty nasty looking there. And like I said, we're going to add that little bone fragment in there. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. And since the little bone fragment is floating in there now, you definitely want to add a little bit of blood to that guy as well. So alright, there you can kind of see the bone. It's all mangled and ripped off, and all it is a fingers folded. Now, if you do this right, so I kind of float around in here, but if you do this right, you can kind of lift up your finger and it looks almost like a gunshot wound exploding out. But then just fold that finger back down in there and you got a nice bloody stubby wound. And there's your bone and all the exposed. I didn't really bother with painting the bottom, but nice and nasty. So with that being said and it being completed, let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to try, do wounds or anything like that, and I'll be happy to do a video for you. And like I said, the link will be posted here for the website and also Facebook, so feel free to comment here or on Facebook.